The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Well, hello and welcome to the Big H Podcast. I'll be your host today, Mike Hayes, and with me today are two members of the committee for America 250. We have Margaret Whelehan far to my left and then Nancy Leport in the middle. Ladies, it's great to have you aboard.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
Great. Margaret, we've done, Nancy, we did a podcast before, so you're an expert at this stuff. So we'll see if the rookie can handle it.
Yeah, I'm a rookie.
But we'll be pretty happy to have her along. Nancy, how did you and Margaret and the committee evolve?
Well, the committee, for the most part, is made up of historical board members, and Margaret's a brand new board member for us. And then the committee is morphing. We're trying to bring in more and more community members, like the Boy Scouts are coming in, and hopefully American Legion's coming in, and libraries coming in, so that we're coordinating our events and we don't have to duplicate each other. So we just got talking about it at the board meeting, knew that this big year was coming up, and started planning.
Have you been in contact or heard of any other local communities also planning stuff for this event?
Yes. Dave Crum, our historian, has been attending the county historians meetings, and he comes back and tells us, well, this is what Spencerport's doing, this is what Wheatland's doing, this is what Chilai's doing. So yeah, it's a big event. And even New York State, Ryan went to a meeting in Albany, and he said there are all kinds of plans. So yeah, it's big.
Great. Margaret, what has been your role as you got on this committee, and you're now a new board member?
Yep. So I am new to the board as of October. I've kind of jumped in head first doing the things that I know and love, which are things that kind of pertain to graphics, helping out with the AV at the presentations, the monthly presentations that we put on, doing some more of the artsy stuff, because that's what I love to do. So,
is that something you do in your day job?
A little bit, yeah. I do work part-time at Retina Associates in Brighton, and I am in charge of marketing there. So I do a lot of graphic design and image processing and things like that for my marketing role. And I also just like to do it for fun too.
Well, I know Nancy, and I can say they love to have the youth coming into the board.
Yeah.
You're married to Greg Whelehan, who is a Hilton graduate. Are you also a Hilton graduate?
No, I graduated from Bainbridge Guilford, which is down in central New York, and I came up here to go to RIT for medical imaging, my degree is in, and I met Greg shortly thereafter, and I've been a Hiltonite ever since.
She's an adopted Hiltonite.
We're glad to have her.
Yes.
Stay close to Nancy, and she'll keep you tight to the Hilton community.
Oh, yes.
Nancy, you brought some things along, and I'm going to kind of let you go with what you've got.
Okay. One of the things that Margaret and I have been tasked with doing is creating an activity coloring book for America 250. Margaret just talked about her abilities, and they're great, to do graphic design. So she has put the graphics together. I did the text, and we just got a proof book. It's almost ready to go.
Do you want to hold it up?
Yeah. So shout out to Ryan Printing,
Yes.
who got this proof together for us really quickly, just in time for us to come on tonight. It's coming together really well. It's been a real labor of love for us. We've worked really hard to get it just right, and I think that the community is going to really enjoy it.
One of the neat things about this, and as a teacher, I hope you will appreciate this, is the coloring pages are here, but there's also an explanation, a kind of a story about what's America 250 about, what was the Declaration of Independence, who was involved, what was the Revolutionary War all about. And so besides the coloring, we also have activities like word searches. She's got a Mad Libs in here, which is really cool.
I love a good Mad Libs. I had to get that in there.
And I believe Amanda also talked about our wanting to do a time capsule. So Margaret has put a blank time capsule at the back of this book and asking the kids to fill in what they would put in a time capsule to represent America today. The other part of this book, and this became a joint effort because she was doing a coloring book and I was doing the veterans. And we thought, well, I have two, so it merged into one. And so in this book, there are stories of the 16 Revolutionary War veterans that are buried in Parma Hilton somewhere. And we just did a little blurb on each one, what they did in the Revolutionary War, where they're buried. We've covered all our historic cemeteries here. And just some little interesting facts about, I mean, these men were amazing. The one thing that I'm discovering about history is that history is really people. In school, we tend to think of it as facts,
Events.
dates, events. You memorize it and you spit it out. But there were real human beings that made this history. And their stories are fascinating. And so I've had a good time learning more about who these men are. For example, there were a lot of teenagers in the Revolutionary War. 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. There was one man who's buried up in Hoosick Cemetery by the name of Asa Beebe. And at 13, he was Paul Revere Jr. He rode through Danbury, Connecticut, where he lived, warning the people that the British were coming to take the ammunition supplies that they had gathered for the Patriots. And he went on and he fought in the Revolutionary War. And interestingly enough, he died on July 4th.
Wow.
And he's buried up in Hoosick Cemetery, which has I think it has the most Revolutionary War veterans buried there. Ephraim Day, he was fighting in the French and Indian War, which was the precursor to the Revolutionary War, at 14. And he fought at Lexington and Concord. He's the oldest veteran grave that we have here in Parma. Other people they fought major battles, like Ticonderoga was a huge battle. Oh, and by the way, Margaret has a New York State map with the forts in it that were.
And that's in here.
It's in here, and she's got a little matching game to go with it.
Great.
So we had people that fought in, as I said, we had somebody at Valley Forge who knew Washington. His uncle, in fact, became the father of West Point. His name was Reuben Putnam, and Israel Putnam, who was a general under George Washington, was the one that became the father of West Point and was a very successful Revolutionary War soldier. So just so many interesting people. And that's what I like about the history, is finding out about the people.
Well, I think you're so right about it's people that makes history, and we seem to think, well, the Revolutionary War was from this date to this date, it was against this country and whatnot. I think the idea of your book having not only the activities in it, but also the text, as teachers, and I can speak on our behalf, is we have to get them enriched and engaged in the text. So they're coming away with that factual. I could say as a third grade teacher, they will absolutely love the coloring,
Mhm.
the time capsule information. I've never introduced them. They don't know Mad Libs, so that, but it's a great
Ah.
way to incorporate
Yeah.
parts of speech.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
match game, that's just phenomenal. Um, Margaret, when you were doing your portion for
Yeah.
the book, how did you go about getting the different graphics and your different ideas that you
Yeah.
did?
So believe it or not, I've really started to use AI, which, AI is everywhere. We're all seeing it all over Google. It's everywhere. But one way in which I found it to be particularly useful has been through, in terms of graphic design and image processing. So I'm able to take, for an example, I can take an old photograph and turn, and maybe this old photograph is torn and blurry or whatever, and I can turn it into a black and white line drawing that I can put in the coloring book. Um, and that being said, during the American Revolution, there were no photographs. You may know photography wasn't invented until the first half of the 19th century. So we kind of had to rely on, or historians had to rely on, eyewitness accounts and stories, and we kind of had to turn to art for documentation. People that were there would do paintings and etchings and drawings. So I've been able to take some paintings, for example, what's on the cover of our book here. This is an actual 1775 painting that I was able to use AI to turn into this kind of cartoon version of itself.
Yes.
That's more kid friendly and more visually.
Definitely very pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, and it just kind of, pops up the colors, pops up the resolution. It makes it a little more visually appealing to a younger audience. So I've been able to take, another example are some of the amazing sketches by David Abbott in
Homespun Heroes.
Yes, Heroes of Homespun,
Yeah.
which is a book by Shirley Husted.
Shirley Cox.
Shirley
Houston.
Cox Houston, yes. Her illustrator, David Abbott, did some really amazing sketches, but they aren't exactly conducive to coloring. So I was able to use some of my software to convert them to, more smooth, more colorable type graphics. So it's just been really fun taking some of this imagery and presenting it in a new way that works for our project.
Did you have a keen interest in history, or did that kind of morph from your work at RIT and now this?
So I've always had an interest in history, but more so as it pertains to the arts, I guess you could say. I've always been really interested in art history. I love antiquing and finding cool things and researching them and learning more about them, architecture, exploring old buildings, that type of thing. But it wasn't until I moved to Hilton, and I was telling Nancy on the way here, I stopped into Stony Point Antiques one day up here at the corner of Parma Corners, and the owner, Neil, started telling me about that area and how it was the hopping place back in the day, and telling me about the history of some of those buildings and how it played a part in the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
And I had no idea, and I was immediately totally fascinated and wanted to learn more. And then over the years, Nancy, she's my aunt Nancy, so we spent a lot of time together. And she's kind of a local history buff, so I'd hear bits and pieces of all this amazing history of this area. So even though I'm not from here, I've become very interested in it. So when I got the chance to join the committee, I jumped on it, and just from October to now, what I've learned is it's incredible. Not only about the Revolution, working on this project, but just about Hilton and its history. It's been a lot of fun.
Now, Nancy, in your pursuit of historical knowledge, where does the Revolutionary War rank with you? Because to me, it is top notch.
It's my number one. I've always been fascinated in the Revolutionary War. Again, the people that made this country happen just fascinate me. How did those people come together at the same time with the ideas and the passion they had? So George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, they've always been an interest to me. And I love the colonial times. think I've been to Williamsburg like 100 times.
Mhm.
It feels like 100 times, but it's, in fact, I shouldn't tell this, but I will. The first time that we went to Williamsburg and we pulled in, I burst into tears. I had wanted to go to Williamsburg since I was in fifth grade. Our fifth grade teacher used to read to us at the end of the day, and she picked a lot of historical fiction that took place in Williamsburg, and it just got me.
Mhm.
So to actually be there was like, oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's right up there.
Now, you also said that there are 16 veterans that are buried.
Yep.
And you mentioned a few of them. Talk to me a little bit about what it must have been like to be a teen. I mean, teens are in video games and on their phones now, and these people were fighting
Yeah, they
for their
were
lives and their country.
That's right. I can imagine a teenage boy getting very excited about the idea of being a soldier, and to be a soldier that was working towards something that had really never happened before, to seek this independence from a bigger, strong, not bigger, quote unquote, but a stronger country like England. I can just, boys like to play soldier, and now they had a chance to just get out there and do it. My sense is once they got there, they realized it wasn't fun and games,
Right.
that it was very serious. So, yeah, I think it would have been very interesting for those youngsters. And, we have the teenagers, but a lot of the enlisted people were only in their 20s. So, yeah, I think it was the passion of seeking that independence and that freedom. And they were pretty much a ragtag bunch. It's amazing they won. The first year, 1775, they lost battle after battle after battle, and got very discouraged. The thing that I learned about this that I hadn't thought about, we think about going into the military now, and you're there for X number of years, maybe 4 years, and then you can sign up or you're done. Well, they could sign up for days or weeks. And so, if there were part of this army and September rolls around and the crops are in the field, they go home.
Mhm.
George Washington was very nervous that January 1st of 1777 was going to see almost the entire army go home.
Mhm.
So, and they've got paid by the day. We have in here an actual pay slip from the 1700s for
Ebenezer Utter.
Ebenezer Utter, and his pay slip in there for however much he was paid for however many days he served. The other thing that I found out about these soldiers is one man who's very fascinating, Jeremiah Perry, was captured twice. He was a POW twice. The first time, the jailers, the British jailers, actually somehow attacked him. Oh, it says that they liked the scarf he had on. I don't and he ends up with scars that he carried for the rest of his life from that attack. Well, his father must have had some money because he paid 4 men $25 each to join the British Army in order to get his son out of jail. So you could hire substitutes to go in your place. And then after the second time he was captured, when he was released, he said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm not signing up
All
again." But there were others that signed up 6 years straight. They fought the whole war. So there's just lots of little things like that. Oh, and speaking of Jeremiah, we have him as being buried in Parma Corners. Amanda found out a couple of days ago that Palmyra also has him buried out there. So he has 2 headstones. We're not sure which one, unless we dig them up.
Right.
Which one he's buried at, but we're going to claim him too.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Now, Margaret, how did you get the idea for your different activities for the book? Because I can tell you, word searches, kids love those.
Yeah.
Coloring, they love that.
Yeah.
The Mad Libs, I think, will be an introduction to them, but I
Yeah.
think teachers will enjoy it, as I said, for parts of
I
speech.
can't believe kids these days don't know what a Mad Libs is.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's a lost
generation
part,
thing, I guess.
lost generation. How do you plan to infiltrate the schools with your book? And
Infiltrate.
it almost sounded like it was a spy organization. Engage the school with your book. Is that better, Nancy?
It's better.
Okay.
So honestly, the activities in here are ones that I like to do. I love a word search.
She does.
I love the Mad Libs, and I just tried to think of things that if I were a kid that I would want to do, just to kind of make it interesting. And also, because originally it was just going to be a coloring book, but we thought by including some of the activities, you make it a little bit more of a learning opportunity. And I think we're in very early talks about getting this introduced with the school district, so we don't have anything set in stone yet. We do plan to launch this at our banquet,
which is in May, right?
May 11th.
Yes. So they will be available at the banquet, and not quite sure yet about working with the school, but we do plan to do that in some capacity.
Yeah, I have spoken to Casey, the superintendent. So, yes, they are more than happy to collaborate and coordinate with us. So, yeah, we'll get this into the school somehow.
Yeah, because what I can say is those dog days of June in the elementary buildings, we're looking for stuff to do and something that's a curricular thing and it's local history.
Yeah.
It's something that the school would really glob onto. I'm a teacher in the district, and I'll ask this to both of you. What are some things that I could be working on with my class to get them prepared for America 250?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, the book will be a good opportunity. And by the way, June will be perfect because we've got some major events happening in June and July. So it'll
tell them about us.
prime the pump. All right. Well, June, we're hoping to do something around Flag Day with the veterans' graves. July 4th, we will be having a ceremony at Parma Union to honor and remember these veterans. And Summer Smash. And we have to keep that under wraps, but we will be at Summer Smash. So June and July will be busy. We hope to be in the parade, the Fireman's Parade as well. So that'll be a nice way to get the kids introduced to it.
Now, when I was talking with Amanda the other day, she clued me in a little bit about what women's roles were in the. Yeah. Do you know about what I could say to you, but I want you to say it. Like they ended up being spies at times.
Yeah, women were spies because they could get away with it. They traveled with the soldiers. They worked in the camps. They tended the wounded. Bandages were made by women in towns, like, wouldn't be Hilton, but in towns, and they would get them to the front lines. They'd cook for them and clean and wash their clothes, and spies. Now, there was one girl, I think her first name was, it's either Sylvia or Lydia, I'm sorry, it's gone, Luddington. She rode farther on the night of Paul Revere's ride than Paul Revere. Yes. Yep. She covered more territory, let more people know than Paul did. But of course, she's lost to history. But yeah, women played a huge role, especially in New York City, where the British holed up after they captured New York City and just had a wonderful time going to all these women's houses and hanging out at bars and whatever. And women could gather quite a bit of information from them.
Still happens today. They call them honeypots.
Yeah.
Margaret, and this question is to both of you, but how much preparation has happened so far in terms of meeting-wise, on Zoom, in person, and what are your upcoming time period and time frames?
Okay. So well, the America 250 committee is kind of a subcommittee of the Historical Society. So we've met, I think, 3 times, and we are going to be meeting monthly for I think the remainder of the year because we have events planned throughout the rest of the year. We want to have at least one, if not more, events each month. So yeah, we'll be meeting quite a few more times, and we do meet once a month as the Historical Society as a whole. So we often discuss some of the upcoming events there as well.
Yeah, the first event is March 10th at the library. Our historical book club is reading David McCullough's 1776, which I recommend to everybody. It's a great book. It just covers the 1 year, the first year, and you just see the hardships and how hard they persevered to keep going, because there were times when they thought it was a lost cause and they weren't going to be able to keep it up.
And Nancy, I do want you to talk a little bit about, we've had some help with an intern for the Historical Society by Emma Watt.
Emma. Oh, Emma's terrific. Emma is a student at SUNY Brockport, majoring in history, and her goal is to become an archivist, which is badly needed, especially for us right now. So having her on board, she's helping us go through files, getting things organized, going through genealogy. One of the big issues that I've been struggling with or trying to get to is there's about 1,000 books in the historian's office up at the museum building, and they're not in any order. And so, bless her heart, Emma has got them in order. She's labeled the shelves, so now we know where things are. So we're really happy to have her. She started videotaping our Monday night programs when she was a junior in high school. And she has been consistent with that. In fact, she even went to Fairport last week with Dave when he did a presentation at the Fairport Library to videotape that. So we really appreciate Emma. She's great.
Margaret, I don't know if you know, what's our next program that'll be at the community center? I think they have them like the first or second Monday.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I'm not sure what the topic is.
Nancy?
I know, only because I had to put it in the newsletter. It's going to be a really good one. It's a local author. I think her name is Rose O'Keefe. And it's on Frederick and Anna Douglas. She's written a book about them, about how their home was always open to everybody. And she's going to be talking about their family life, their relationship, and what they did for the abolition movement.
Oh, very good. I think Dave, I remember you recently did a historical marker on the Bond family.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to speak to that?
I would love to.
Okay.
I just love that marker. The Bond marker is at the end of 259 at Hilton Beach. And Mr. Walter Bond was a member of a family that moved here from Vermont. And they were a family of freed slaves. And they were very industrious people. There were 5 of them, 5 children. The father died shortly after they arrived. He's buried in the Wright Cemetery on Dunbar Road. And Walter had a fishing business. And what he would do is take the freedom seekers, the slaves that were trying to get to Canada, and they could travel right down 259, and they'd come to him. He'd put them in the bottom of his boat at night, and he would row them either to Niagara, the Niagara River, so they could get across, or to the Port of Charlotte, where they could get on a boat and go across. So we had his descendants here. I think we had 5 or 6 of his descendants here. I think you did a podcast.
Yeah, Lonnie.
Yes, yeah. I just think that's a wonderful story. I wish we knew more of the individual stories, but because it was Underground Railroad, everything was very hush-hush. So we don't know, some of the near misses he may have had, but yes, he did that for quite a while.
Tell us a little bit about the museum board meetings and maybe the museum hours that people can.
You don't want to know about the board.
Well, I've attended a few, and I'm like, are we still going?
do tend to run on a little bit.
Well, okay.
Well,
Let me correct.
some present company helped them move along quite well.
I was going to say, let me correct that because we move along. Todd Pickett is the chair of the board,
Oh yeah.
and Todd will only allow 10 minutes on each topic. And you got to move on.
He cracks the whip.
Oh, he does crack the whip. And so we've learned to be very concise, get to the point, and we move on. So he tries to keep them at an hour, the meetings. So you missed that part.
They used to be like 2.5 to 3.
Oh, no, not when I was there.
Well, you were just getting on when I was
Okay,
there.
yeah.
They were too much for me.
Yeah, that's a long time. Well, they're down to an hour, maybe an hour.
All right,
and
maybe
10.
I am.
Nancy and Todd have reined them in quite a bit, I think, from what
Yeah.
I've gathered.
Can you bring up some of the other board members?
Oh, sure. Okay, on our board, the president of the organization is John Foster, vice president Jerry Pickett. I'm the secretary. Dave Almeter is the treasurer. And then we have Ken Freeman, who's the curator of the museum. We have John Toll, Tommy Berger, Frank Hubble. Oh boy, help me, Margaret. Amanda Dudley, Liz Mistretta, Margaret,
You did a pretty good job there off the top of your head.
Mike Weldon,
Todd and Jerry.
Todd and Jerry. There's like 15 on the board.
Yeah.
So I think I've hit most of them. I hope. If I forgot you, I'm sorry.
And when are the museum hours that people can go visit in person?
Okay. From April to November, the museum is open Sunday afternoons from 2 to 4. However, if people would like a private tour or need to go at a different time, Ken Freeman, the curator, will provide a private tour for them. They just have to call the museum and arrange a time. So we're coming up on the beginning. It'll be early April. I think it's the Sunday after Easter that we open. And he's always looking for docents. So if you're interested in Hilton Parma history, let him know. There's a training session and you're good to go.
Now, a couple more things before we wrap up. Margaret and Nancy, this is to both of you. Did any of you have things that you brought along or things that you think our viewers might want to see at this point in America 250 preparation?
Well, I have one thing that I've got circled here that I need to remember because Amanda has asked me to talk about this. The Revolutionary War veterans who are buried here obviously didn't live here before the war because Hilton wasn't established
Correct.
till after the war.
Mhm.
So they're veterans who moved here, who raised families, had farms and stores, and we're looking for descendants of any of these veterans. Now we know one of them, Noah Downs, is connected to the Wright family, Tommy Berger, the Hurlbutts, all are part of his descendants. And we'd like to find if there's other descendants here of these 16 so that we could have them speak at the July 4th ceremony.
Mhm.
So check your family history and see if you're related to these 16 men.
And how can people find you on social media or contact you if they do find that they're related in some sort?
Well, we have a Facebook page,
Mhm. We have
Parma
an-
Hilton Historical Society.
Yes, and we have an incredible website. Shout out to Amanda who does that, and it's just a wealth of information. And I believe there's contact information on the website as well.
And every Wednesday night from 7 to about 9, Dave Crum, the historian, is in the village office, which is in the community center. And he kind of holds like open house. People come in, they ask questions, they bring things in. It's a time of sharing and learning. So that'd be another good time. Or call the museum. There's lots of ways.
Margaret, I just noticed your sweater. It's got nice red, white, and blue, and it actually looks very similar to the America 250 logo. One more question, and then we'll wrap up. If you were to put something in the time capsule for 2026, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow. What would it
You know, I made this page about designing your own time capsule, but I haven't really thought about what I would put in a time capsule.
Well, I think the book should go in the time capsule.
Oh yes, for sure. That's a good one. That's what I would put in there is this book. It's been such a labor of love, and it's been so much fun, and
Yeah.
I would put that in there.
What would I put in?
Could be something at the museum, or that would be local history, or just 2026 overall with culture.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Device of some sort.
that's the fun thing. You can make your time capsule what you want it to be.
Now, I understand from Amanda too that there's also a time capsule from
Yes.
1976.
Yes, and we were able to see some of the things that were in there.
That's going to be kept a secret, right? Or can you reveal? Kind of like one of those gender reveals.
I think I can reveal. It's a girl. No. Okay. So a lot of the organizations in 1976 would put their membership lists in, or kids at school drew pictures or wrote an essay, and that's in there.
And one of the activity pages that we have in our book here is to design your own historical marker. So we kind of took the ones that are around town and created like a blank template. So that, talking about the kids putting their stuff in the time capsule, I think it would be neat to maybe put the winning. So
Yeah.
to back up a little, we plan on doing like a coloring contest or contest for design your own historical marker in the school district this fall. So I think that maybe the winning entries could be a great thing to put in the time capsule.
I know that Amanda's trying to put together like an audio tour of the cemeteries where these men are buried. I think that would be great to go in the time capsule too.
From what I've discovered from talking with Tom Berger, Amanda, and listening to you, you can learn a lot through a cemetery.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that was one of the ways that I also kind of first got involved. Was I saw that they were doing these cemetery cleanups locally, and I just thought, hey, that's something I've always kind of been interested in, and so I jumped on the bandwagon with that and helped with some of the repairs of the tombstones, and that's another way I kind of got introduced to the historical society. So yeah, it's incredible what you can learn, not just about the people, but the artwork on the stones. I personally find very fascinating. So yeah, it's cool.
And both Margaret and I have taken part in we do a cemetery tour, and we reenact some of the people who are buried there. And Margaret and I have been doing that, and that's a good way to learn, because Amanda does a deep dive on these people, and we need to learn about them, and we do. It's great.
Yeah, I think we have some cemetery tours coming up
Yes.
over the next year or two.
And I think too, what has really stuck with me is there have been some incredible people who have lived in Parma Hilton and done some amazing things that we just don't hear about. There were some that were very involved in the abolition movement. There were some that became judges and state senators. There were some that came and became land speculators. They sold, 90% of the land around the Ridge Road. They built churches. So I think, again, it's the people aspect of the history that really, really fascinates me.
Yeah, it's more than just an apple village or
Yes.
cowtown,
Yeah,
Right.
which unfortunately
It was.
it was.
I don't think it feels that way so much anymore.
No, not at all. We're getting a little bit smaller school wise. I guess I was talking to Dr. Kaswark, but we are a large school. So,
We are. Yeah.
I would think if you're going to add something to the time capsule, of course, I'm a teacher. I think something from the school district
yeah.
or education, which this book is really.
I know what I was thinking. Every year they take a picture of the graduating class. I think that ought to go in the time capsule this time.
Because I would think for the 1976, I don't know how many people they had then, and it was probably taken at either
We didn't
West
do
School.
it. We didn't do it.
Well, you were 70, right?
Oh, thank you. Yes.
30 plus 26.
Yes, I was 70, and we did not do a huge group picture like they do now. And we were at the Quest School. We still call it the high school. I don't know when they started doing those big pictures, but I think that would be great. I think, something from the sports.
Mhm.
We've got, like your daughter, we've got some really incredible athletes here at this school. So, yeah, there's so much potential to put in that time capsule.
Margaret, I'm going to give you a last crack at anything you want to bring up. I was thinking this is an easy one because I know Dave has many of these on hand. Is your yearbook from the high school?
Yeah.
Put that in the time capsule,
Yep.
or like even in the middle school and the elementary schools, they all
It's gonna
do
be a
it.
big time capsule.
That's fine.
Again,
Where will it be buried? Is it going to be at the museum? Sorry.
This is a big question because 76 did not get buried. It's been at the museum, but it also wasn't sealed. So if they had tried to bury it, it would have ruined everything in there.
Yeah.
So we've been kicking this around back and forth, back and forth. The latest idea is to, whatever we get, we lock it, we keep it at the museum, but we bury the key.
Nice.
So that's just one of the ideas that Jerry, I think, came up with, Jerry Pickett.
Yeah.
So
I like it. Margaret, any final thoughts from you?
My final thoughts, I guess, are if you have even the faintest interest in history, to check out some of the events that our historical society puts on, because there is so much to learn. Like Nancy said, there's so much has happened here, and really incredible people that you just kind of don't know if you don't know. So the website, the Facebook page, the programs there, it's really cool if you have any interest in history at all. And I find the more I learn, the more interested I become. So I would say, give our events that our society or our committee puts on a chance, and
see the museum. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and the docents would love to see you coming through that.
Yes. Definitely.
Nancy, your final thought?
Oh, goodness. I have so many.
She is a preacher.
It's right. You got to shut me up here. I what Margaret said, 100%. We would love to see more people involved and learning about Parma Hilton history, because it's rich. There's a couple of new displays that are being put in the museum as we speak that'll be there in April. And one is a big one on the apples. We didn't have a separate display. So we now have a huge display about how we were the apple capital of Monroe County, and 2,000 tons of apples went out of here. And it's pretty amazing what we accomplished.
Well, ladies, you have an open invitation to come back whenever you want to talk about whatever you want.
Well, don't go that far.
But I do want to thank our audience for joining us on the Big H podcast. I wish you luck in your planning of America 250, and we look very much forward to that. Come back at any time. As I said, viewers, if you like what you saw, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. You can follow me on X, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Rumble at the Big H Podcast. Ladies, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very, very much.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll